he posted this joint of some lady rapping, or I'm not gonna say rapping. She was singing from back in like 1920s or 1953s or whatever, and it was in response to the WAP video or whatever, talking about how vulgar the WAP video was and all that shit. And this lady had said the most ridiculous shit I have ever heard, dog, on any song. Dog. I swear to God, she was. I'm talking about 1950s, 1920s, or whatever. Talking about I will make you shit or whatever. I'm gonna put this pussy on you or whatever, and I'll make you shit or whatever. And
heard the song. I've heard old songs and shit like that. I never heard the song.
Nah, dog. That was the first time I ever heard it. I thought it was.
I've heard some of those old songs was like reckless though. You know what I'm saying?
Can you relate that? Can you relate that one song out of the like stuff that's in mainstream like radio right now? Like these junks are talking about wet ass pussy on the radio. Was that song on the radio?
No, that was some underground shit.
All right then, yeah. So it's not.
I know you saw. You remember the Dolomite joint? Remember that Dolomite movie that came out and how he kind of got on because he was doing like kind of dirty little like jokes, but it was like to beats. And then he brought that one lady on and she was doing like the same shit. I like all that like dirty shit was like that was like mixtape shit. That was like underground music. That wasn't mainstream, but that shit is like the shit that we got now in mainstream is like worse than all that shit. Like,
because you had songs like Super Freak. I mean, now, like, do we give the sexual songs, let's say almost 40, 30, let's say 30, 40 years ago, do we give those sexual songs a pass simply because, it was a love song? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like what? Like
I see what you're saying.
Like,
it wasn't. I feel like it wasn't. I feel like it wasn't
descriptive like that.
Yeah, there wasn't blatant. It wasn't blatant.
Some of that shit was blatant, dog.
Nah, 30, 40 years ago, they was like talking about like, fucking courting and.
Now you gotta listen to
I mean, I agree with Brian though. I agree with Brian because there was songs like that came out in the 80s that was like super sexually suggestive, but it wasn't like blatant.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It was like
the thing is that might touch back.
It was a song called Sugar. Like a song called Sugar Walls. That shit was a hit. It was on the radio, but the shit is called Sugar Walls. What the fuck they talking about? They clearly talking about pussy in that goddamn song. You know what I'm saying?
But it might touch back like, with the last episode we was talking about with it being underground type shit.
I be sampling shit. You know Minnie Riperton? Minnie Riperton? I think that's she's some actress's mom and shit. What's that half black and white actress? That's what's her name? On SNL. Who?
From Bridesmaids, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, Minnie Riperton, if you used to listen to her music used to be super sexually charged, but she had like such an angelic voice that if you got caught up in the voice, you ain't listening to the words. Like it was one song, she was like, I want you deep inside me. And that was like, God damn, I sampled that shit, but when I'm like, I'm making the beat, I'm like, God damn, this shit kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit. But I was saying these songs have been
R. Kelly joints. All the R. Kelly? Are we serious right now?
No, I'm talking about before.
I thought y'all was talking about 30, 40 years ago.
I mean, I'm talking about at least the disco era and forward. The disco era forward, that shit was reckless. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I'm saying.
Did you listen to some of Marvin Gaye shit?
Last season.
I know y'all listen to some of Marvin Gaye shit. Marvin Gaye used to be on some pimp shit. Like, I don't know if y'all noticed.
Yeah, Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like even Marvin Gaye wasn't like blatant with it. He wasn't talking about.
Are y'all hearing like what these hoes were saying?
That's what I'm saying. It's not. He ain't talking about like I don't know, bro.
Okay, yeah,
it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, but it's also like, all right. At what point did we give a pass? Did we stop giving passes?
Exactly. That is my whole point.
But this
what I was
thing.
trying to say, because we had the whole episode last week talking about the are they trying to fuck us over with the whole rap shit and all that shit. Bring niggas, they want niggas to do stupid shit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It got to that point where they had the whole their little committee or whatever saying, oh, this is what we want to promote and shit, and want to promote denigration of the black folks and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? So like Marcus was saying, yeah, that shit was that's equivalent to what we would call as mixtapes back then or whatever. But now this shit is mainstream. And
Hey,
Pop music. Pop music.
so
They fucking butt ass naked talking about wet ass pussy. Like,
yeah, this shit is mainstream.
I
That would have been.
I agree with no, Randall, you're right.
Back then.
I agree. I think it's. I just think that it like back then it was more like subliminal sexual innuendos, but like now that shit is in your face. Like they ain't even trying to play it off. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree with that. I do agree.
So
with that.
I miss part of it, but I think it's always two things. So I think the first portion is like literally, I think that shit is a little bit like the wet ass pussy, like that shit, and like that song, like literally, like once that jump kicks off, it's like it just starts and it's like, oh shit, is this what we get into? But like at the same token, and it is mainstream, like that shit is mainstream, and they changed it to wet and gushy or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it, like
nigga, that's just as bad.
yeah, if you think about it, like when we were, and I don't want to say when we were growing up, like you also had the Uncle Luke and the don't stop, pop that pussy, I want to see you do the burn, I want to rock. Like that shit was like a party anthem. Like those shits were party anthems, and like you know what I'm saying, those shits took over like parties and like different things of that nature. And even if we
nigga,
they remember put it in that Akinelli joint, put it in her mouth or some shit like that. I remember when I was young, I was in like fifth grade. I remember my older cousin, she was probably like 16, 17, and she used to have that shit playing on repeat. And I used to remember my young ears was just like, oh my gosh, like you know what I'm saying? Like
remember the joint from the 504 boys? You ain't gotta say too much. Remember that joint?
But that's what I'm saying. Like those jumps were like party records, and like I don't think they. I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't feel like them jumps ever like made the mainstream like media.
You had to search.
This joint is but and like of course if we went to parties and like they played that shit, but like now like that shit is
was underground joints.
Is two of the top artists, and I think that I don't know. Like my only take on it, well, one of my takes on that song is I feel like they just needed like somebody to, if anything, soften that shit up a little bit, because like at no point in time during that whole song it was just like wet ass.
They trying to outdo each other.
It wasn't nothing like to like bridge the gap of like, all right, we gonna ease y'all into this shit or nothing. Like it was literally like, boom, we right here with it. No.
Like that should have been like a soundtrack on Booty Talk or some shit.
What about the Genuine joint, the Genuine Pony joint? Remember that joint?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like I understand that.
Niggas know what it was talking about though.
I understand that shit has changed, but I'm just trying to figure out when can we kind of narrow it down when we stop giving that pass.
But every time y'all give a reference though, y'all saying the lyrics, like the video itself. You know what I'm saying? We used to have to watch shit like that on BT Uncut. Now that's
with a box.
That's true.
And did y'all see? I'ma just revert back to that. Did y'all see that Clout video of what's her name? Shit.
Cardi B?
Cardi B? Yeah. She don't got nothing on.
I didn't see the video.
I was like, how is this possible? She don't have anything on the whole video, bro. It's like paint. She got paint on. Like, this shit is crazy. That shit wasn't flying back in the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean
90s.
But we spent the car for that.
So how do y'all feel about the because you know, we have our perspective as men, we're older, you know, we all in our 30s and shit, but like what about the mind of like a young 14, 15-year-old girl who may not have somebody in her life to tell her this is not good, because even within that same 15-year-old girl might have like a mother that's 35, 36 that support that support Cardi B, that support Meg Thee Stallion. So if you got a little girl that's growing up and her mother is supporting this shit, how you think that's gonna influence the mind of like a young girl, especially a young girl going through puberty. You know what I'm saying? Let's say she about 11, 12, hormones kicking in, and her introduction into womanhood is fucking, Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B's wet ass pussy video. Like, do you think, how y'all think that, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I look at that shit like, I look at that shit like this, right? If you a child and you sitting there in the car and you see your parents listening to music, and then you listening to the words, and then you see your parents like this, you know what I'm saying? You going to start to
That's
accept
what I'm
that as
talking about.
okay.
At the end
But
of the day, it's
your young
parenting.
mind, even though to the parents it may just be
No,
entertainment,
it's
but to
not
the
even
child they
though. It's
really don't know.
parenting.
You know what I'm saying?
It's parenting. What are you putting out in front of your children? Is parenting at the end of the day. It's parenting. It's parenting. You like at a certain age, you're not
Some people don't got
putting.
that luxury.
Nah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Some people definitely don't got that luxury.
We
That's
mean,
bullshit.
yeah.
What do you mean?
No, Corey. I think what he's saying is that everybody doesn't like. Of course, like parenting is important, but there's a lot of parents who came from fucked up households, and now they're trying to raise some kids, and they don't know shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like every kid isn't afforded a mature parent with a. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's
Oprah
not
would say,
afforded
you
that.
gotta do
A lot
better.
of people. No. You're right, but what I'm sitting there saying is that everybody wasn't born in circumstances where they had parents who can actually teach them something. Like some people are literally raised by kids. Like there's a lot of people out here who are children in adults' bodies. You know what I'm saying? Raising kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and like that shit we talking about, that creates that generational shit that we talking about. You know what I'm saying?
you
I
asked.
understand.
So you
I
asked.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
So
Because
you
I don't know, even like with I don't know, like old songs like because you can even take like I don't know, like the Aaliyah, the Rock the Boat joint. That's a sexual ass song, but it don't seem like it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? She
yeah.
talking about stroke it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but we like you said, it's different. Like these chicks is like mad, like in your face.
Well, then what you're saying is
They aggressive
perspective.
with it. They aggressive with it.
Mad
What you're
aggressive.
saying is perspective. You're saying is perspective. Then at the end of the day, what's his name? Lil Duval. He put a meme out there the other day talking about it's twin boys or whatever, and they're grown up by a what do you call it, alcoholic dad or whatever. One boy says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna grow up and I'm drinking or whatever, and yeah, this is what I seen. This is because of my dad." And then the other boy says, "No, I'm not gonna drink at all because yeah, this is what I seen because that's my dad. He was alcoholic, so I'm not gonna drink." You know what I'm saying? So it's all perspective. Is what you're telling me. So
And so I know, Marcus, you asked how does it affect them? I feel like the video can affect them as well. Like a 14-year-old girl that sees, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, I think it also goes to like body insecurities too, because I think operations and implants and all of that shit is like at an all-time high. And if she's seeing that, that the girls is being sexualized and they talking about having, good pussy and, so on and so forth, I feel like that influences a lot of teenagers that are that young as well, because they're like, I got to have a body like that. That's what men like, or so on and so forth. And they only 14. They ain't even like grow up yet. So
I want to know the guys with the daughter's perspective. Lighthouse, you got a daughter, right?
Yeah, I got
No?
two. I got two daughters.
And Brian got a daughter. I want to know what your perspective is. Go ahead.
I mean, I'll say this. I'll say this. Like as far as like even this wet ass pussy video and shit. I feel like if you're a young girl, you going through puberty, right? And like you want to be able to relate to males. Let's say your hormones start kicking in. You like boys, right? Like, but you're not being taught anyway how to be compatible with a male, like on a personal level. It's like the first introduction to dealing with men is having good pussy. So a girl will think that all she has to do is have good pussy in order to like get a mate. You know what I'm saying? And we all know as men, it helps. I mean, it helps, but that's not all you need in order to, be a complete partner to a man. And I feel like what happens with a lot of these girls is that, they'll hear these stories and then they think all they gotta do is have good pussy, but then they can't keep a man and be trying to wonder why. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not being taught the any other values. You know what I'm saying? They're not being taught to offer, bring anything else to the table. But if you 14 years old and you 15 years old thinking, oh, this is what I gotta do to get boys, and then that boy you start dealing with leave your ass after you gave him your so-called wet ass pussy, then you jaded for the rest of your fucking life. You know what I'm saying?
And that
So it's like, you
had
know,
to do with what I was saying about women not being too feminine out here in these streets in America, dog.
You gonna get a whole record
Exactly.
company. You keep saying
Go
that.
ahead.
Again.
Some
Streets of America.
people gotta hear this shit.
Go ahead.
It's
Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead,
There's too
Brian.
much shit going on out here.
saving
Go ahead,
lives out
Brian.
this bitch,
Honestly,
nigga.
I
saving lives with this
couldn't have put it. I can't put it no better than what Lighthouse just said. I mean,
Yeah.
man, I mean, because that in itself, I mean, like you look at your daughters, like you want the best for them. You
It's
know what
the
I'm saying?
apple of
It's
your
like,
eye,
and
man.
like even like sometimes like even like within the household, like I know that like when I'm riding and I got music on in the car, and you know like sometimes I'm not even consciously aware that like I'm just rocking out, but you know what I'm saying, I'm just doing me. But then like I got her in the back seat, and it's just like it's like
Let me cut this shit off.
it's
Yeah.
a lot, man. It's
Yeah.
a lot, man, and like you want to shelter, especially your girls. You
Yeah.
want to shelter them
Yeah.
from a lot of things, but like Lighthouse said, it does. It's a different dynamic when the mom or the woman in the relationship is like very supportive of that type of music. And you know what I'm saying? And then if the mom and the daughter have a close bond, and you know what I'm saying, like when I'm not in the car, or if the male is not in the car and they just jamming out, you know what I'm saying? And like they rocking out, and you know what I'm saying, but like it's like it's like at what point do you step in and it's tough. It's not easy. It's not easy raising girls.
Hey, I'll use an exact example of what you're talking about that actually happened to me. I'll use an exact example that's something that actually happened to me. Like, so when my kids were actually younger, like I used to actually listen to more rap music in the car, right? So I remember like one day, my kids used to love what's it called, ASAP Ferg, like Shabba Ranks. I used to play the clean version and all that shit, but like Shabba Ranks. What was that other ASAP Ferg joint? They used to love that song when I played it. And then one day I caught my daughter rapping the words back. You know what I'm saying? I was like, hold up, wait a minute. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want her, when I saw her like trying to rap the words to the song, I was like, okay, I'm influencing her whether I realize it or not. And then that's when I stopped playing those songs in the car. And this was like 3 years ago. But I realized when I saw her rapping the words back, I'm like, she don't even know what she's saying. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I stopped playing that kind of in front of them. You know what I'm saying?
So I just have a question right there. Do y'all think it's more? I mean, do y'all think it's also aligns with like making sure that y'all I guess set the boundaries and set the rationale that music is entertainment. I know you also still set other boundaries and have other conversations, but also allowing them the opportunity to listen to music and as a stream of entertainment, but not necessarily listening to it as a focal point for life. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense, whereas though you're listening to it and you don't think like, so I guess hypothetically speaking, or I'll just say, speaking as it, like, even we talk about the Wet Ass Pussy song, like you can say, oh shit, like this beat go hard, the song is a good like party record or to get ready to or to get dressed to, but at the same time, like literally, you know, there's other focal points within life that come into being a woman, being a person, as opposed to just thinking about it in one aspect of Wet Ass Pussy or whatever the fuck you want to call whatever song it is at the time. So do you think that conversation, I mean, I know we know that conversation needs to be had, but do you think it's also like a conversation that makes sure that you know that your child knows that music is entertainment and can only be entertainment for the
honestly, Al, man, at this point, like the way they have access to, there's no sugarcoating it. Yeah. They're going to have access to, the only thing you can do is just be there for them. Like if they have questions and like you can only shelter them from so I mean every single kid, mostly all kids from let's say starting from the age what maybe 6, 7 and up, they have a phone. They have access to YouTube to watch. I don't care if it's Yo Gabba Gabba or whatever. It gradually gets to the point where they start to listen to their own music, and that music is what they hear on the radio. And what's on the radio? This song is on the radio. It's on the fucking radio.
Wet ass pussy.
It's on the radio.
Yeah, and I'll say as far as like the aspect of entertainment, all that shit, like you know, we all try to separate things and be like, okay, this is for entertainment. I'm not gonna take this too seriously, but the mind of a child is so impressionable. Like
Yeah, it is.
it's hard for them to separate fantasy from reality. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard for them to do that. We can tell them that, but it's like, especially if this is coming from adults, they're more inclined to listen to that shit. You know, it is what it is. But and like that whole conversation, that as multiple times when we keep talking about subconscious mind, the subconscious mind of a child is probably even more fucking susceptible to bullshit. So it's like, you know, I mean, you can title it entertainment, but if that child is indulging in that shit, it's going to influence them.
I mean, how do we teach those? We teach children with songs, so like that shit is easy for them.
With song, with repetition.
I mean,
Good point, Sean. Good points.
we talking about the hypnotized mind shit we was talking about the other day. Is like you get a beat that helps with the hypnotic aspect. You got the hook, which is chanty, which is tap. Is like a spell. Like literally, like these songs are spells.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's literally what that shit is. You know, a beat puts you in like a trance. So then when you're doing this, it's like your brain is opening up.
Right.
And
guess what? And guess what's in the background of that song? It's some holes in this house. It's some holes in this house. It's just in the background. And it's just
that joint
talking to your subconscious. Talking to the subconscious. Talking to the subconscious. The brain is picking that shit up. Your brain is picking that shit up.
Another aspect to consider too is peer pressure and what all of your friends are listening to as well.
Yep.
Because if you think about it, that's probably all 14-year-olds are talking about since that video came out. And they were like, you know, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like kids have been growing up way too fast, you know, these days. And I know it's going to continue because that's just how life is. But I've heard of 13-year-olds, you know, and 12-year-olds talking about sex. And I'm like, bro, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? It's because it's acceptable and it's being transmitted through, you know what I'm saying, through videos, through radio, through everything. And it's like, all right, so let me talk about how family members are raised too, right? So like, I'm not sure if anybody has like a family with like 2 or 3 or 4, you know, siblings. But you know how the first son or daughter is always like strict. Like you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. The second, it's a little more lenient. The third is like, you got a curfew.
Do whatever the hell you want.
And then the last one is like, you could do whatever the fuck you want. Like I feel like that's how generations are, and we're at the point where we're just feeding everything into, you know, like we talked about it was supposed to be uncut, right? It was supposed to be after dark, BET after dark or BET uncut. You can see this shit like in broad daylight, like at 12 noon, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's way more accessible.
You're right, Paul.
It's way more accessible, and I feel like all of the peer pressure and everybody's probably talking about the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just literally just making your point. Like it's no way they can avoid
it. And look at it from like, all right, so what kind of the videos was coming up back when we was like going through puberty and shit? It was like that fucking like, you know, Shake It Fast, all them fucking like a big pimping. You know what I'm saying? Like look at how those videos was, right? So now you got a generation of males and females that was like, you know, just seeing, like, even you can go to MTV Spring Break. Remember MTV Spring Break? They used to have like wet t-shirt contests and shit on that little MTV Spring Break. So we was getting hit with all this kind of sexual shit. Now you got a generation who was kind of raised off that shit. They're desensitized to it. So even though we can have this conversation and be like, I don't know, this shit seems like a little too much, there's other people out here who full go be like, what's wrong with that? Why are you judging them?
Yeah.
But those same people had it that way because they was raised off that same shit that we was raised off. Like they was watching ass booty shaking videos before they was fucking in middle school. You know what I'm saying? So these same people were like, what's wrong with that? That's all I know. It's just a little bit of ass. What, you afraid of ass? It's like, no, it's not about that. You know what I'm saying? But some people look at that shit like that. But some people look at it like that. You know? I mean, I feel like we're a very mature group. I feel like we are, but I feel like a lot of people are not like us. You know?
So what do you say to the person that says, okay, well, it's just entertainment?
But the thing is, because
I say it's just parenting.
No, it can't be just entertainment because for whatever, I mean, all right,
Parenting.
Jesse said this because women feel empowered and stuff, right? It's just entertainment. You got to know how to know the differences and shit.
Right.
But once it makes it on radio,
Parenting.
once it makes it on radio, you are an influence to other people. I said it last week. You got to know your celebrity. Yeah. You have to know your celebrity. That shit's on radio. If you want to make shit for, you know what I mean, for BET Uncut, make the shit, you know what I mean? You got to put 18 and up, you know, access to get the shit.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if you're going to be raunchy, but know to be raunchy to like an older crowd, but don't if you're going to be like that or have a wet ass pussy song and you produce this shit on radio, then that's crazy.
Right. Gotcha. Radio and YouTube. You don't have to put in anything to watch her jump on YouTube.
That's true.
Yeah. But like who has the most what genre has like the most views on YouTube? Child stuff. So of course, a lot of those views are child views.
Yes.
And mine. I watched it once.
Yeah, I mean, I had to.
I watched it too. I will say, and I know we talked about this too. That beat go hard as fuck. And if you a grown adult and you with your wife or your girl,
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
In your own room. I don't think there's anything wrong with that shit.
That's the point I'm making, bro. That's the point.
Yeah, we are adults.
On the radio.
Say it again, Brian. Say it again.
We are adults.
Parenting.
God damn.
That parenting shit now. Wait till that nigga get his iPhone.